Hi, it's Shola here from Speak Up Like a Diva, and I want to ask you, do you try and add some humour to your presentations and your speeches, or does it seem like a huge mountain to have to climb to try and be funny, and it's something you want to steer well clear of? That is what I'm going to talk about in this week's vlog. But before that, let me just say a big hello to you. And my name is Shola Kaye. I'm based in the UK, and I work with individuals and corporates to help them with their communication. And I also work with small business owners to help them to grow their business with public speaking. Today, let's have a chat about being funny. The reason why I want to talk about this is, firstly, I had to write a speech for a friend's birthday party a couple of months ago, and people were flying out to Spain for my friend's. It was a big birthday, and he had about 70 people coming out, and he wanted me to write a speech about our friendship. And I thought, well, I'd love for it to have a few jokes in it. So I set about doing some training in how to be more humorous in speeches. And just to share before I go on, I love the work of somebody called Craig Valentine in the States. He's got some wonderful resources on how to be funnier. And then in the UK, my favourite is David Jones, PhD. And he teaches stand-up comedy, but he also teaches how to be a funnier presenter. But anyway, the two occasions I needed to try and be funnier for, or the one occasion was my friend's birthday, but then somebody contacted me, a friend of mine, yesterday and said, oh, Shola, is it necessary to be funny when I'm doing public speaking? Because my husband says that I'm not funny enough and I need to add more jokes, but I want to just focus on the content of the presentation and just get on with it. And I said to her, that's completely fine. To my mind, though, and I think other speakers agree with this too, the speakers who have to work the hardest are comedians, because they have to get laughs. If you're a comedian and you don't get any laughs, then you're not really a comedian, are you? Whereas if you're a speaker and you're trying to go for a bit of humour, then if people laugh, fantastic. But if they don't, you can just carry on and pretend it wasn't even a joke. So I think comedians do a lot of work. They work really hard just to get one good joke or two good jokes. They may have practiced many times in front of many different audiences before that particular joke is allowed to be a part of the routine, the regular routine. As I say, luckily for us as speakers, we don't have to work quite as hard. And I want to share over the course of two videos a couple of simple tips that you can use to be a bit funnier. And my sort of public speaking idol, Craig Valentine, he says it's not about adding comedy. He said it's about uncovering the humour in your presentation. And I think it's a nice way to look at things, because then it takes the pressure off us and we can analyse the content we already have and see where we can uncover a few laughs as opposed to having to put them in specifically. And the easiest way, I think, to get some laughs is to poke fun at yours truly, at yourself. The reason why I think that's a good place to start is, first of all, it doesn't offend anybody. So you know you're not putting any backs up during your presentation. And also, you know yourself better than anybody. And so it's very easy for you to find a few bits that people can enjoy and can laugh at alongside you. And then what that does is, by having some humour poking towards yourself, it tells people that you don't take yourself too seriously. And I think that's really important, because you want your audience to relax and enjoy and just sit back and let you take them on a journey. And if you don't take yourself too seriously, because even in a serious presentation you can have a little bit of humour just to lighten the energy. If you don't take yourself too seriously, I think it tends to make people like you and trust you faster. So I think there's a great argument to be said for including humour in your presentations when you can. And one joke that I have used a few times in my presentations is, I won't even share it as a joke, but what I do is I compare myself in looks to Duchess Meghan of Sussex, right? So Prince Harry's wife. And I've done that a couple of times now in speeches, and it really does get a good laugh because it's so ludicrous, right? So I don't look anything like Meghan. And the only thing that we have in common is she's mixed race and I'm black. But by saying things like, oh, and being a ravishing beauty like Meghan of Sussex, you see the resemblance? People instantly think, gosh, she doesn't take herself seriously. They have a few laughs, I have a laugh with them, and then we carry on with the presentation. Now, of course, if you're adding humour like that, it's got to have its rightful place. You don't just chuck a joke in completely out of context. So whenever I do add that, there's some comment beforehand about appearance or about looking in mirrors or something that fits in the presentation, and then I can throw this thing in that, well, looking in the mirror and recognising myself as being one of the great beauties of the world, like Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, can't you see the resemblance? And people just crack up because obviously there is none. But if you can find some little way to laugh at yourself, especially near the beginning of your speech, then it instantly puts people at ease, and you can get on with the rest of your presentation. The rest of it doesn't even need to be funny, but if you can add a couple of jokes near the beginning, then I think it's a really great place to have them, because you're getting people on side. It's almost like you're earning favours with them, because you're giving them some laughs, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this looks like it could be good. Let me sit back and enjoy. So that's it for me. I'm just going to talk about this again in the next video, but just give you another tip. One thing that I would caution against is poking fun of people, and in particular, poking fun at people, and in particular, you don't want to poke fun at anybody who's like someone in a sort of serving role. So if you're at a dinner, there might be people there, waiters and waitresses. You don't want to poke fun at them. You don't want to poke fun at receptionists or anybody who's there to serve you, because they're not in a position to fight back or to comment back. So you don't want to do that, because you'll probably have people coming up to you at the end saying, oh, well, why did you make that joke about so-and-so, or about the waitresses? That was a bit unnecessary. So you don't want to do that. And typically, if you are going to make fun of somebody in the group, let's say I was at my friend's party and I was going to make some fun of somebody in the group, then you might pay them the courtesy of telling them beforehand and just getting their permission, so that you don't embarrass them. But ideally, you wouldn't be doing that in the first place, because you should probably have enough comedy content with yourself. So start there, poke fun at yourself, start collecting stories or funny things about you that you can insert in the right place in your speeches, and you'll be good to go. So that's it from me for now. And as I said, if you want to check out some great sources of instruction, how to be funnier when you're speaking, then look into Craig Valentine and look into David Jones, PhD, here in the UK. That's it from me for now. Take care and be funny. Bye.